Hey there, it's Mikey, trainer, speaker, entertainer, and author of Rescue Me From My Job, and also author of my upcoming book this October, released by Morgan James Publishing, Quit. Get rescued from the job you hate, follow your dreams, and come alive. Hey, in this training video, I just really wanted to take you through my experience and walk you through the steps that I took to write a book and self-publish. And that's the title. How to write a book and self-publish. Now, I don't claim to be an expert by any stretch in being an author or an expert in the publishing arena or self-publishing. All I'm doing is just responding to the many requests I've had as I travel around North America sharing about my book. And people are asking me, I've always wanted to be an author. I've always wanted to write my own book. How do I do that? The who, what, when, where, and why, and how. And so I thought, you know what, I'll just condense my steps and my journey. I tried to get 3 steps, but unfortunately I have 10, and just walk you through where I came from, where I was, and where I am today in regards to writing my book. For those of you who don't know my story, about 5 years ago I quit my cushy corporate HR job and followed my heart and dreams to become a corporate trainer, keynote speaker, comedy entertainer, and now nonfiction author. And my life hasn't been the same. It's been absolutely unreal. The experiences I've lived, the opportunities I've been given, the people I've trained and consulted, the organizations I've worked with. So here are my 10 steps. Maybe I'm just a little bit further down the road, but hopefully you can take one of these steps and maybe it can help you save a little bit of time, money, resources. I'm going to share with you a ton of information. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this. The first step that I took in my journey was a title. It seems simple and elementary, or maybe even a topic. I would say first and foremost, I've always wanted to write a book for years, probably 15, 20 years. I've always thought about writing a book, and I've always had a topic in my mind, but never a title. In the summer of 2012, I went to a conference in Los Angeles, and my mentor, the keynote speaker, was talking about taking us through an exercise of how to write a book and how to come up with a title. And then in my journal there, I sat down and wrote, I think in the first 15 minutes, Rescue Me From My Job. And I knew in my heart at that time that was the title of my very first book. And all I needed to do was write my story. But after that, I was like, well, what do you do? How? And so actually, from the time that I came up with Rescue Me From My Job through to the time that I was holding a paperback copy in my kitchen was a period of about 14 months. And people always ask me, the second question is, how much did it cost? It cost me a little bit more than I wanted to pay for this book, probably just under $2,000 of my money that I had to throw out to designers, graphic designers, book illustrators, a page layout editor. I'll explain all that through the steps. I hired a writing coach. I'll explain that as well. So the first step was create a title or a topic. You don't need to go through these in a linear fashion, 1 through 10. You'll find that, maybe 4 or 3, you start with 4 or 3, whatever it is. I'm not a linear person by any stretch. I'm more of the non-linear, creative, and all over the map type of guy. But this is what happened to me. Title and topic first. The next for me was register my domain. That was it. I'm a huge proponent of self-branding and promotion, obviously with social media and online and .com, .org. So I happened to get rescuemefrommyjob.com. A little longer than I wanted, but hey, it works for my book. And there's all kinds of domain registries out there. You don't have to use GoDaddy. I use GoDaddy because they're hosting a bunch of websites for me. The average website domain cost is $7.99, $8.99, or $9.99 for 1 year, which is pretty affordable. The third step for me was to have someone design a book cover. Where did I get that? Fiverr.com was the very first step I took. Fiverr.com. Great website if you want some graphics done, some simple stuff. If you want really technical stuff, you have to sift through the designers and the illustrators and people online there. But Fiverr.com is great. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 bucks will get you a decent starting book cover, a graphic. If you need graphics for your book, it's a great place to start. I'm visually driven, so I needed to get a book cover. I needed to see this. The second thing that came into my mind was the life preserver. That's something that I had as a brand and a theme through my Rescue Me and my Quit series and all that, is this life preserver. So I knew I had to see that. And actually my graphic, I think for 25 bucks, the guy came up with the life preserver in the word job. And when I saw that, that was brilliant. So that was step 3 for me, getting a book cover. Number 4 is write, and write till you can't write anymore. I don't even know if that was good language, proper language. Write. Now, what do I mean by that? Open up your laptop, your iPad, type into Microsoft Word. For me, it was Microsoft Word, and just banging away. As I mentioned, I'm not a very linear person. One of the things I struggled with was get to my chapters. And my writing coach helped me with that. I'll explain in a minute. But was to get all this information. Like, I had so much information in my journal, handwritten in my journal, articles that I cut out, emails of clips of magazines. I had all this stuff. And I said, how do I condense this? And how do I move forward with this book? I had a lot of good information, but it wasn't organized in any particular fashion. But what my mentor shared with me is that write on a restaurant napkin, write in your journal, write on your iPad, write. I would text myself information. When something would pop in my mind, I'd hear it on the radio, XM Sirius, whatever it is, I would text myself back a quote or a topic of a reminder that I would go home and write something about it. So wherever you are, whatever it is, just keep writing as much as you can, because the next step was the biggest step for me, was to hire a writing coach. Now, I found my writing coach on elance.com, elance.com. It's a great website where people like myself and yourself who are looking for illustrators, graphic designers, web design, whatever you need, freelancers out there globally, you post an ad up there and people from all over the world bid on your project. So for my project to help me write, I think I asked for a writing coach / ghostwriter, and I probably got 30, 35 responses. Now be careful when you're using Fiverr.com and Elance, because you need to sift through all the garbage and the junk and the people who are fake out there. They'll tell you a great game on the outside, but it looks great on the outside and their portfolio is amazing, but zero substance. So look at the reviews, look at their portfolio. Do your due diligence on these people before hiring them. My writing coach was great. She resonated with me and I felt I had chemistry with her. Her name was Sue. And what Sue brought to the table for me, which was most important, is gave me that linear, methodical approach that I needed. So the way we worked, the collaborative effort between her and I, was I would just dump stuff on her. A 20-page Microsoft Word document, an article, a text, an email. I would dump everything on her. I gave her the title, and then between the collaborative effort back and forth, slowly we started writing in this linear fashion, getting chapters. We would go back and forth so much, and then she would lob something back to me, and I would say, that's sort of, I think it fits in chapter 5. I would lob something to her, and she would say, I think that's chapter 7. And after about 4, 5, 6 months, we actually had this working document with, I think, about 15 chapters and with content for each of those chapters. So anything new I found or came up with, we would punt it into one of those chapters and fit it in and write around it. So it actually was a great partnership and it worked wonderfully. Number 6 was the next big step for me was hire an editor. Someone who could take what we've put together with what Sue and I, my writing coach, put together and take it to a professional level. I'm talking about layout in the Chicago style that the publishing world needs, grammatically, spell check, change some of my wording that maybe was a little amateurish. He was fantastic. Thomas, I hired him, a pretty well-known New York City editor. That was probably the bulk of my $2,000 I spent on my book went to him, but it was great because I handed him this rough manuscript that was probably 90% there, and he brought it to about 99%. I say 99 because, I don't know, it's never there to that 100%, but he was phenomenal. And then from that point, my manuscript was ready to go. Number 7 is select a self-publisher. Who do you want to use? I used Amazon's self-publishing arm called CreateSpace. There's Hulu. There's so many out there in the online world. You just need to select one that resonates with you and your story. Is one better than the other? Yeah, I'm sure there is, but for me personally, I'm an Amazon.com junkie, so when I saw that they had a self-publishing arm, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to have this book on Amazon.com for sale as well. So that's the route that I had taken. And number 8 is a little lengthy here, page layout expert. Page layout expert. So now that I've written my manuscript, an editor has finalized it, it's ready to go. It needed to be in PDF format to upload to CreateSpace. And that's where my page layout expert came. He put it together in the proper format in PDF that all I had to do is once my book cover PDF was finished and once my layout PDF was finished, I uploaded those 2 documents, as simple as it is. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead to upload. Step 9 was upload 2 simple documents. That's all it was. I think my page layout was, my cover was 2 megs and my page layout was probably 5 megs. Not a lot. Upload the documents, and then finally order copies. And each of my copy cost me $3.17 each. This paperback copy costs me, to order books to hand out or to sell at seminars, training sessions, whatever I do, cost me $3.17 each. That's it, my friends. That is sort of my step 1 through 10 that I have taken. I've given you a lot of resources. One thing I would like to leave you with is my new book, Quit, has been picked up by Morgan James Publishing, a renowned publisher in New York City. I'm super ecstatic to work with them. It's going to be released in October of this year. I also want to give a plug to, if you're an aspiring author, if you want to write your book, if you want to join any one of these steps, whatever you want to do, find a community. Don't go at it alone. Part of my success was having that writing coach and then realizing I needed other people to help me along the journey. There's one resource I wanted to throw your way is Author 101 University, a great group of people. Rick Frischman is the name. You can Google that name as well. Author 101 University is a great group of people where you can network for 3 or 4 days with. There's an upcoming session in Los Angeles in April, I believe. But if you're an aspiring author, you want to network with a community of other authors, of acquisition editors. That's a big thing. The success that got me to Morgan James was finding what's called an acquisitions editor, where I gave him my book, he went through it, and he proposed it to Morgan James Publishing, and they loved it, and they took it under their wing. That's it. Best of success to you. If I can recommend anything in the whole self-publishing author world, is continue to write, and never stop. Have a great week. Thanks so much for watching.